how we can socially distance ourselves without emotionally distancing ourselves from others. In fact, socially distancing ourselves will increase our emotional bonds. When you say, Papa, I'm unable to come, or you're in a different country and your parents are somewhere, your spouse is somewhere, your children are somewhere, they have always been like this. Our lifestyle has always been like this, distances. But all of a sudden, when somebody says you must socially distance yourself, then we start worrying and we start blaming the system or the enforcer, which is not nice actually. We have to obey, we have to find some discipline. It's like this discipline of simple traffic lights. If you go on your way, oh, I'm not going to obey the red light, then you are in trouble. When they say the city is closed, it will remain open only for the most essential. We should respect that decision without saying you are infringing on my freedom. And that is one of the reasons why I presume, maybe I'm wrong, in certain countries, the disease has spread faster than China. China is able to enforce a certain level of discipline. People are trained. If the authority says don't do this, nobody would dare to oppose them. That's why they are able to curtail it. But in some other countries, they say, oh, what is the use of Allah? What is the use of God? They are there. They are there to protect me. I am going to do my worship. I'm going to do my satsangs. I'm going to assemble in temples. No. This is not right. Oh, my master will protect me. No, this is not right. Protection that comes from master is different. We need to first obey what has been instructed. There are social norms, there are country norms, there are spiritual norms. Master enforces and like to see, he recommends only, he doesn't enforce anything. He recommends that please do this. If you do this, our journey will be smoother. That's all there is to it. Corona, it is dangerous. People think it creates flu-like syndrome. Yes, it does create flu-like syndrome, but it is not only flu-like syndrome. It does create something more than that. No flu will damage your pancreas. No flu symptom will damage your liver, or no flu will damage your digestive system. No flu will go to the extent of creating lung damage to such an extent that corona is able to do. You feel at times when it is worse, you feel as if you are drowning in water because there is so much of fluid retention in your lungs, you can't bear it. In fact, in Italy, they had to make decisions when there are 4 people waiting for a ventilator to breathe. They have to choose who needs the most. But there's so much of shortage of ventilators. Well, my purpose is not to scare you, but at least bring the reality in front of your eyes, and you're not children to get scared of. And if you're getting scared of, then it has served my purpose. Please look after yourself, distance yourself as much as possible. Remain in your house, don't run around. This is also a time for dopamine fasting or regular fasting. Try to extend your grocery as much as possible. Who knows, if this continues for a month or 2 months and grocery stores are not so open and their grocery stores may not have so much of supplies running all through. So start, I think, saving to a large extent as much as possible. So, if you have any specific questions, Kanan Bhai, then we can attend to them.
We have received quite a few questions, Taji, and I have tried to simplify. And there is one question from a 6-year-old.
Uh,
Why is coronavirus affecting only humans? Is there a
well, birds may be dying quietly, but we wouldn't know. Birds wouldn't, who would? Many humans are also infected without knowing they're infected. We don't see how many birds have died because of this in the first region of Wuhan, where it got infected. Yesterday, I received one video related to Wuhan. That Wuhan is the first city in the world to receive 5G.
Yes,
Entire city was covered by this 5G, now what we call bandwidth.
right, right.
And that particular YouTube video was trying to say that this is all due to the impact that it creates on our electromagnetic field. Ever since electricity was implemented, a lot of problems have started, which humans did not see earlier. Little by little, all these technological advancements are happening. Then came radio waves, then came TV waves, and now we are flooded with TV waves, radio waves, Wi-Fi's, so many other things. We don't know the implications of it. If you remember, somewhere Babuji has stated, this era, this period of electricity must end. And if you see everything that is depending on electricity, electricity creates this field. I don't mean to discourage you in some way that to go back into the old days of lanterns and kerosene, etc., etc., but minimize the dependency on this as much as possible. I like our Kini Sab. See, he's sitting in a dark room, not much of a light around him. Ravi, not Ravindra, Narendra, Naren,
Naren Kini.
yes. There are many implications of all these things, and we don't know how many birds are affected because we don't measure this corona virus or diagnose corona present in animals. So it is futile to blame animals for spreading disease. Someone said it was in the bats first, and then it came to another animal, and that was consumed by some Chinese, and that gave way to from the wet markets to the human beings, and from there it all started. Yes, the epicenter is Wuhan. Also need to reconsider our. I don't blame or I don't say that it is this 5G, but in Northern Europe it has been observed, especially countries like Norway, Finland, where they noticed that 5G has killed so many birds. And this experiment which our children have done, not only at Kanha or our school here in Omega or in Heartfulness Education School here, Heartfulness Learning Center, and many schools I have requested them wherever we have our Heartfulness classes. Many schools in Pune, Bombay, Varanasi, Delhi, they do this experiment on moon sprouts, how the phone effect, how the Bluetooth effect, how the Wi-Fi effect uh, controls or affects the sprout growth of moong dal, and how while keeping this petri dish of moong growing um, is further enhanced in a positive way if you keep that petri dish which grows this moong dal in a meditation room. The growth becomes faster. Growth is also lush green and dense. While when you are growing the same moong dal in in a Bluetooth environment or Wi-Fi environment, it becomes yellower and growth is stunted also. So it does affect our growth. Recently, I was not recently, I was, but I would say 3 4 months back. I was in Kerala, and there I visited one research lab. And this research lab is a startup or a hobby, you can say, of two guys who retired from Apple. They were working once upon a time with Steve Jobs and finally making billions. They have retired and settled down in India. They have some research project going on, and there they invited us. One of the finding they were experimenting was how red blood cells uh, they form, like certain diseases will prompt RBCs to behave, red blood cells to behave and form a kind of a colony, or it will form a Rolex type of a structure, or they'll get scattered in certain way, forming a different type of shapes. So it was quite interesting. So while this experiment was going on, I had this idea that while you are watching this under the microscope, and the image of these red blood cells is being transferred on a computer screen. I told them, since you already have my blood sample, let us see the impact of phone with the Bluetooth on and see how WBC behaves, how our white blood cell behaves. Now, since my blood sample was already taken almost 10 minutes before, by the time I requested for this experiment, they were already settling down, almost dying out, you can say. Their WBCs were just settled. They were not moving at all. They were